can watch this in all of your glory on your phone at stltoday.com, also KTRS.com. Tony Messenger, editorial page editor of The Post, John Deal, speaker in waiting, and Jay Kanzler. Jay, Charlie Dooley back at it again this week.
You know, here's the thing. It's almost as though he wants to lose, like he is throwing the election. You know, what he did, at least as it was reported by KMOX, I know I shouldn't say that, but and then picked up by the other media.
Hey, wait, KMOX actually broke a story? That's a bigger story. Let's talk about that.
That's McGraw Millhaven, not Jay Kanzler.
They didn't steal it right out of the newspaper? Holy mackerel, that's breaking news.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, the microphone, is this on? I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
According to the news reports,
yes.
A meeting was held with Charlie Dooley, his campaign manager, and it was called the patronage workers. And those are the workers that are not covered by the merit system. They can be hired and fired at the will of the administration. And during this meeting, two things were alleged. The first was that Charlie Dooley went off on a tirade, including lots of colorful language, lots of F-bombs, railing on his primary opponent, Steve Stenger. And then, probably more troubling, is it was then suggested that all the patronage workers that rely upon Mr. Dooley for their employment should take their 1% raise and donate that to the Dooley campaign for re-election. Now, anybody that's been around politics knows that this goes on at levels in the patronage system. However, getting everybody together in a room and insisting upon it, or even kind of strongly suggesting it, at a time when you are weekly, on a weekly basis, being dragged through the mud in the newspaper, again, is evidence of some questionable thought process.
The story goes like this. This is Kevin McDermott for KMOX who wants to find this story.
No, that's Kevin McDermott from the Post-Dispatch.
From the Post-Dispatch, right. But I'm telling KMOX that they can find it at STLtoday.com.
Gotcha. Thank you very much.
Written by Kevin McDermott. So here are the quotes you'll be hearing on KMOX later. I'll just source it for them since they don't source it themselves. The story from Pat Washington, Dooley's spokesperson, about what Charlie Dooley was doing. He wasn't trotting everybody into a dungeon and having them take their coins out of their purses. His comments were a result of questions that were raised that night. There were several different questions about what is appropriate to contribute. Charlie Dooley says, among other things, 1% is fine.
Yeah, it's almost
very reasonable.
What's 1%?
It's almost
It's an
as if
tax.
there's a how to
Obamacare will
self-destruct
take
your
more of that out
political
of your
career
pocket than
book,
that.
Political Self-Destruction 101 for Dummies or something, and Charlie's advisors are reading this book and say, hey, I have an idea. Let's take all of our patronage employees. Remember all those people that we've argued to the newspaper every time they get in trouble for not being good employees, that they're really the best we could find, that it has nothing to do with patronage? Let's take all of them that we didn't hire John Tempereedy's son because of patronage. We hired him because he was the best guy possible to find the taxes on the airplanes. So let's get all those guys and let's put them in a room. And let's tell him to give Charlie some money because you know what? He's not doing very good in fundraising. And then this is the genius part. When the media hears about it, because we know they will, let's have our spokesperson pretty much confirm everything that happened in the most colorful language possible. And then this is going to be great. It's laughable. It's laughable.
I'm trying to figure out what I can add to this.
Well,
other than the fact of, don't do it yourself. It's kind of like what we talked the other day. So if you're going to whack
that gets to
someone,
the thought process here. You start to question, I don't want to say the intelligence, but
Well, no, in all seriousness, it's just sheer brazenness. It's clearly Charlie Dooley is not getting the message. And that he still thinks that he can do and he's above, and that all of these things that are mulling around and all the accusations and the questionable tactics, and the point is, hey, I need money. I gave you this job. You now owe me 1%. What's the argument? Get it done. I mean, it's almost like a mob boss, if you will. You know, take care of me, and I will give you protection.
And also, a little bit too, it's just that there's just a complete lack of structure in his organization that he would have to even go do that.
Right. Well,
yeah, and I think that's what Temporita used to do, right? He used to be the one that would go office to
No,
office to do that. You think?
John. Oh, no.
You misunderstood.
No, you misunderstand the nature of those
what I was doing.
conversations.
That's right.
it was not business.
They were
it was personal.
discussing the proper tip on the lunch menu that they were having.
It was a suggested.
That's all that
Just
was.
suggested.
According to Pat Washington, he certainly did not tell his employees he wanted 1%. They're not required to give any money. So that's her line.
I'm sure that various reporters will be watching the Missouri Ethics Commission filings closely over the next couple of months.
I did love the story in the Post where people gave like 1% to the penny. They gave $1,700.22, and it was exactly to the penny.
And is it gross or not?
Yeah, that's a good question too.
That's the old United Way question, or the tithing question.
Yes. We'll come back, wrap things up. Tony Messer, John Deal, Jay Kanzler, Big 550 KTRS.
The Big 550 is your home for everything Mizzou. Tune in this Monday night from 6:30 till 9 for Mizzou Monday, live from Friendly Sports Bar and Grill in South City with John Hadley and Jim Hewer. We'll recap the last game, preview the next game.